Well, hey, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diane, and today we're making roasted chicken and corn casserole. Come on and join me as we make this together. Alrighty, so we got to get this paper off of this chicken. It's still frozen. It's still early in the morning. I'm gonna get ready to wash my hands up and get my hands nice and clean. Always remember to clean your hands very good after dealing with chicken, okay? Make sure you wash them several times. Then we're going to add some salt to the water. The salt will do two things. It will help the meat to defrost, and also it will help draw out any impurities. We're going to cover it up. Going to set it in the fridge for a few hours. Then I'll take it out, and hopefully it'll be fully defrosted. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to unload the dishwasher for my husband. He does so good of making sure the dishes are clean. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a helping hand today and unload the dishes. Alright, so we're going to move on and we're going to make our corn casserole. I'm going to just get the dish all oiled up. This is a 8x8 pan. And we're just going to oil that real good. And this recipe is already in my video profile. Just go back and look up corn casserole. And all it is some cream style corn that you're going to have. And you're going to put that whole can in there. And then just regular whole kernel corn. And we're just going to add that into the mix. So I've already washed off my tops. Just going to pop it open. And we're going to pour this directly into our bowl, and we're just going to scrape out with a little bit we can if there's anything left in the can. And then we're going to go ahead on and open up our other can, pour the whole kernel corn in there, and then we are going to put in some sour cream. It's 1 whole cup of sour cream. I'm going to have to measure that out because I usually buy this big tub of sour cream. So we're going to dump that whole 1 cup over into that and get all of it out the cup. Remember, you want to get all of your sour cream out and just dump it right over in there. And then we're going to put in our butter. This is a half a stick of melted butter. Make sure we get all of that over in there. And then we're going to add some salt to it. You don't have to, but I think it brings out the flavor. And then we're going to add us some pepper into the dish as well. So we want to add a nice amount of pepper. And then we have the Jiffy box. And this is the large box I got from Sam. But on the back it tells you here that 1 box is 1.5 cups of cornmeal. So some lumps in it. I'm just going to go ahead and try to stir it while it's in the box to get a little bit of the lumps out if I can. And then I'm just going to measure in 1.5 cups of this corn muffin mix from Jiffy. I've never used anything but the Jiffy because that's what the old recipe calls for. But if you wanted to try something else, you probably could. I don't know if it would rise up and do as good. You'd have to add some extra things to it. And then it calls for the eggs. And we're going to put our 2 eggs just right over this. Remember, folks, this is all just dump, stir, and pour in the pan. And then we're going to stir and get all of this incorporated into this very well. It takes about 3 minutes to get it all worked in here real good. You want to get that sour cream and the eggs all mixed, and make sure you don't have any lumps from the corn muffin mix. And then the only thing we're going to do now is we're just going to dump it over in our pan. We got the oven preheated to 350. And into the oven it goes. Alright, and now we're going to work on our green beans. I washed the lid of my can. And these are just the great value cut green beans. We got 1 can. We're going to just get these opened up and going to pour them directly into the pan. Sometimes I will rinse them 3 or 4 times, but today I'm going to cook all the liquid out to retain the flavor, so I'm just going to use that liquid. We're going to add a little bit of onion to it just to kick it up a little bit and give it some more flavor. When you add anything to the green beans, of course, it gives it a whole lot more flavor. So we're going to cook these green beans down. Alrighty, so let's just get this over into the pan with the green beans. Sprinkle it all over in there real good. And I think I need just a little bit more in there because we like onions. And actually, even though I'm cooking them in onion, my husband is going to add some extra just raw onions on top of his after it cooks. And he'll probably put a little bit of tomatoes, chopped tomatoes on top of it as well. All right, that looks really, really good. All right, so we're going to add some salt to it. Get that in there. You can omit if you want. But we're going to add a pepper next. So here's our pepper. And we're going to add a good amount of pepper to it. Next, we're going to add some bacon grease. My husband dropped my container, so I'm just using a cup till I can buy me another one. All right, we're going to cover that and let that cook down really, really good. Next, we're going to take our chicken and we're going to drain that salty water out. Rinse it really good. And now we're going to start to cut our chicken up. You can fix it whole if you want, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut our chicken all the way up. And then this the necks and everything, we're going to freeze them. We're going to continue to cut our chicken up. And I want to get this bone out the middle. Just so the chicken will lay flat on my pan. Because that bone is going to stick up pretty good. Alrighty, that looks good. Alright, now we're going to wash our hands really, really well again. Okay? Get them clean, clean, clean. Now we're going to rinse our chicken and we're going to start the washing process of just making sure we got our chicken nice and clean. Now I'm going to store the backs in the refrigerator and use it for stock later. Alrighty, now we're just going to continue to wash this chicken and get it nice and clean. Make sure the skin doesn't have anything on it that we don't want. We're just going to do a really good deep washing of our chicken. Some people say don't wash it, but yeah, I'm going to wash my chicken. You best believe, because my granny always washed her chicken. She soaked it in salt and she washed it. And so yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. We don't know what that chicken had been through, what it's been laid in when it was in the store. Alrighty, now in a clean, dry sink, you're going to let your chicken dry. I washed and cleaned my soaking bowl, and now I'm going to add the chicken back into this bowl because we're going to put our seasoning on our chicken. Alrighty? Sorry about that, but we were watching a Christian movie. Alright, let's add all of our chicken back into our bowl. Make sure we got, looking at it while you're dropping it in there. In case you see anything that shouldn't be, you can go ahead and take it out and wash it. Alright, that looks good. Now, we're going to wash our hands again really, really good. Get them nice and clean again because we've been touching chicken. Alright, now we're going to put in some pepper. And we're going to put the pepper and all the seasons right on the skin, on the meat itself, okay? Because you want the seasoning to be the closest to it. Then we're going to put in some garlic powder. So here's my garlic powder, and I'm going to put in a good amount of garlic powder, okay? Because this is like a roasted garlic chicken that we're fixing. Then I'm going to go in with some onion powder. And we're going to put in a fair amount of that too. We want to be able to taste the seasoning. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of paprika, not a whole lot. Sometimes paprika can darken your chicken. Then we're going to come in with a good amount of Mrs. Dash garlic and herb seasoning. We're going to put in a fair amount of that. And then we're going to add some butter to it. And this is going to help to make the chicken tender and give it a really good flavor as it is baking in the oven. All right. Then we're going to put in our olive oil. So this is going to be a good amount of olive oil that we're going to put on here. And we save that for last because we want the seasoning to be closest to our meat. We're going to give it a really, really good turn and mix. And then I got butter on my pan, my sheet pan. And this is just a small sheet pan. And then I'm going to begin to lay my chicken out. I'm going to lay it out in here. Really nice. Button the pieces together so that the heat from the chicken will actually help to cook each other. I find that it's more tender if you let it kind of touch other pieces of chicken as opposed to just being by itself. And again, the butter on the bottom of the pan also adds flavor to the chicken as well. It's amazing how I can be cooking and still listening to the movie and know exactly what's going on. Wonderful. Now we're just going to spread out the remaining seasoning that's in our pan. We're going to spread that out on top of our chicken just to make sure we get enough seasoning on it, because it's going to be some left in the container. But let's go ahead and put that on the chicken so we can make sure that we get all of our chicken nice and covered. Okay, so you just take your hand and just pat it down and get that seasoning out the bottom, because that's where your flavor is. And you know, in that seasoning, it's been soaked in the olive oil. Alrighty, that looks good. Then we're just going to go ahead. We're going to take a brush and we're going to pat some of that down, because there were a little bit of clogs of it. So we're going to just pat it down and get it nice and even. Alrighty, so this is looking really, really good. I'm going to put a little bit of extra pepper on top of it. That's just because we like pepper so much. So you don't have to do that. But all right, everything looks good. I'm going to pop this in the oven and let it cook till it is done. All right, guys, dinner is all ready and done. We have our delicious tender green beans. They're done and cooked. And then we have our corn casserole. That recipe is on my page. Just scroll down and you'll find it. It's a wonderful side dish to have anytime. And then we have our delicious oven roasted chicken with all our different seasons on it. You know, life is complicated enough. Don't make dinner complicated. Remember, be blessed, and we'll see you real soon.